Volkswagen has fixed its eyes on competing with electric vehicle companies and keeping its promise in achieving its goal. The German car company now appears to be a threat to Tesla since the release of its Volkswagen ID.4. It will restructure its production system, plans to put the idea into action in 2030, and targets North America as its primary market. Welcome back to Three Towers Investing Channel. In today's video, we will look at Volkswagen's current intentions to dominate the EV sector, as well as why they feel they'll soon overcome Tesla. Without further ado, let's get started. Volkswagen is likely to expand its manufacturing operations in North America and Europe. The company is speeding up its efforts in the EV industry to compete with Tesla and Ford, as well as eliminating gasoline-powered vehicles from its portfolio. Volkswagen has announced a 5-year investment of $7.1 billion in North America to make all of its vehicles electric by 2030. Volkswagen claims that some of its battery electric vehicles have already sold out for 2022, with revenues much higher than in prior years.
This period is probably the most crucial for the whole industry. We will see within the next 2 life cycles, probably 15 years, a total turnover of the industry upside down. Electric cars are taking the lead, and then software becomes really the core driver of the industry. Cars are becoming autonomous within the next 15 years. So this is going to change the industry, and to manage this change is probably the most important task we are facing. And we think we are on the way. We are making good progress.
But Herbert, you know as well as I do, there is a big company over the other side of the Atlantic which has this extraordinary advantage in terms of popular perception and the vehicles it's been building as well. It also trades at 155 times forward, whereas Volkswagen Group trades at 7 times forward as well. Can the gap between what Tesla is doing and what you and other European automobile manufacturers are doing, can that gap be bridged?
I think so, because the race is open. This is not an industry which you can conquer within a few years or so. This is not tech, so you need life cycles, you need product, you need plant capacities, you need market, you need to earn the trust of the customer. So this is a long run. And yes, there are a few startups which we are watching closely, and Tesla for sure is in the lead in some aspects there. But we are not so far behind, and we are gaining momentum.
And it's Karen jumping in. I want to ask you about the pricing for mass market electric vehicles then, because a couple of years back when you launched the ID.3, it was priced around 40,000 euros. There was some criticism about the price of that particular vehicle. Now in the announcement, you're talking about innovative production methods, recycling, driving down the cost of entry-level models by 50% and the volume segment by 30%. What does that mean for the pricing of mass market EVs?
We are already in mass market now, and just launching the ID.3 last year. For many customers, this is the most economic car compared to a Golf same size or to many other cars. So electric cars already today are very, very competitive. They're becoming more competitive over time, and that gives us the certainty that this is the right way going forward, because electric cars actually will bring down cost of individual mobility further, so it will open up, and I think that's a very good signal for our industry. So we were introducing top-down. Now we started with the Taycan, a very sporty Porsche, and then e-tron, Audi premium SUV, and then we're coming down now to ID.4, ID.5 A segment cars, which we call it, the typical Tiguan or Golf, and later, starting in 25, we will go further down in the entry-level cars, A0 segment we call it, so Polo size, but that's still the way to go.
By 2030, the business expects to offer more than 25 new electric vehicles in the United States, with more than 90% of its cars sold in North America being made in the United States. This comprises the Atlas and Atlas Cross sport utility vehicles from Chattanooga, Tennessee, as well as the Tiguan Tawas and Jetta from Puebla, Mexico. To replace gasoline-powered cars, Volkswagen is building an electric lineup that will include the ID4 in 2022, the Microbus in 2024, and new electric SUVs in 2026. Volkswagen intends to build a center dedicated to battery research and development. It will use a $22 million investment to enhance a facility that will test and validate batteries for all of its electric vehicles sold in the United States. Volkswagen is also working on responsibilities for objects that have a car hatch to further localize. This year, the business aims to deploy over-the-air software upgrades and other software capabilities to the ID4. Volkswagen is predicted to be the leading electric car brand in Europe and America as a result of investments in localized talents. In early February, a new Trinity electric vehicle manufacturing site near Volkswagen's Voitsburg headquarters was also revealed. Volkswagen is also collaborating closely with the Volkswagen Group's software development centers in Seattle and San Francisco Bay Area to support the expansion of its North American subsidiary. Meanwhile, Tesla has started hiring for its Gigafactory in Berlin, Germany, around 140 miles from Voitsburg, and Ford has announced a restructure that would split its internal combustion engine and electric car research departments. Some of Ford's most iconic models, as well as some of its most popular autos, are being recreated as electric vehicles. In addition, the Volkswagen China Group announced the formation of joint ventures with Huayu Cobalt and Zhejiang Group to ensure nickel and cobalt supplies for Chinese electric auto manufacturing. The company's goals, according to a statement, are supply chain security and a transparent and sustainable supply chain. Volkswagen also declared that manufacturing will begin ahead of the schedule. The impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on the supply chain was already being examined, according to Volkswagen Group CEO Herbert Diess, just days before the production stop was confirmed. Germany's industry was still on pause a few weeks later. Volkswagen has also stated that the closure would be extended. However, the company has said that the production of electric vehicles will commence at its German manufacturing facilities. Since the week following April, rumors concerning the company's early startup have been spreading. Volkswagen's vehicle facility is projected to be the most important electric car manufacturing, having produced models such as the Audi Q4, Cup Reborn, ID3, ID4, and ID5 EVs. Volkswagen recently announced that production at its Bratislava, Slovakia facility has restarted following supply chain logistical issues. Leoning, a well-known wire harness producer, has indicated that manufacturing at a few facilities in Ukraine will resume. Regrettably, the corporation stated that returning employees would be subjected to curfews and the fear of violence. Volkswagen and its suppliers are trying to find solutions outside of Ukraine, promising Ukrainians that they would not flee the country due to the unrest. Volkswagen and other manufacturers have had to cut production since Russia's interference in Ukraine disrupted vehicle component exports throughout Europe. This is the latest setback for an industry that has already experienced 2 years of computer chip shortages and further pandemic-related supply chain bottlenecks. Volkswagen has said that its Ukrainian suppliers would be retained. However, because no one knows how long the crisis will persist, the German automaker is planning for a prospective expansion outside of Ukraine. Ukraine is an important European provider of automotive wire harnesses and other automotive components. Because they link the tangled mass of wires present throughout the automobile, wire harnesses are frequently referred to as the central nervous system of the vehicle. In Voitsburg, a task group of 150 Volkswagen experts and industry leaders from Ukraine's auto parts sector is working quickly to keep supply lines accessible. Finding replacement parts for individual components or switching suppliers are two options, as is the more drastic alternative of replicating complete facilities. Because of the lower cost and the potential of reusing or extending existing infrastructure, Eastern Europe and the Maghreb in North Africa are the most likely locations for these mirror sites. All 16 Ukrainian cable manufacturing factories that supply Volkswagen are operating at 30 to 40% of capacity. After completing all of its scheduled steps, the task force thinks it can reproduce the whole Ukrainian war harness production capabilities. Around 55,000 people will be trained, and the industrial region would need to be supplied with the appropriate machinery and tools. Some wire system production has already shifted to a Tunisian site with more capacity on the way in Romania. Leone, on the other hand, declared it had no intention of abandoning Ukraine while Russia and Ukraine are in an armed battle. Leone said the business just began production in Ukraine with improved security procedures. Two Levi area enterprises have refurbished historic Soviet bunkers to secure the safety of local employees. Volkswagen's night shifts brought output up to 70% of normal, allowing the business to reopen its Volkswagen factory sooner than scheduled. Suppliers will continue to produce as long as the present security situation permits. Volkswagen intends to use the lessons learned in Ukraine to its supply chain complexity in order to minimize supply chain interruptions in the future. Do you believe Volkswagen will be able to catch up to Tesla in the next years? Share your thoughts and ideas on this in the comments section below, and let's talk about it. And that's the end of this video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to 3 Towers Investing channel for more videos on finance, investment, and innovation. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good one and see you next time.